since we have no subscribers and nobody ever follows us because I suck. My name's Roger Conrad. I'm in Calgary, Alberta. I am known for my folly because I chose the username all over the web called Mr. HTML CSS. And if you watch anything I do, you'll know that I am the opposite. I should be like on Mr. CSS. And here I'm with my buddy Daniel. And fire away, Daniel. Give a little. Give
Hi,
one to
also
the
from Calgary. Roger and I met when we both worked for Lighthouse Labs. I think it's funny that you've still like leaned into the Mr. HTML CSS name. It's like back to the roots, right? You can never get away from HTML CSS. It's always at the core of what we're doing as web developers. So even if you're not like totally focused on utilizing those tools or you're using frameworks on top of them, Roger, you're always going to be using HTML CSS. So just speaks to your like classic nature. Cheers to that one.
Oh, we're doing the cup thing. There's a cup. There's my
Yeah, what do you
cup.
got, Mr. Always Right?
And
This
then
is my favorite mug in the house right now. Like the Bay, I guess. Show off my Canadiana. I should get some
Canadiana.
nice Canadiana art for the wall. Okay,
That would
you
be
did part
cool.
one. You did part one of this project already. Hey, why don't you give me like the 2-second blurb?
I should, right? Okay. So where I work, I have to deal with some jQuery, and I'm garbage at jQuery, or at least I'm not at a standard where I feel like I should be. And so
Right.
I thought I should do like a quick and dirty little to-do app with jQuery, because to-do apps is like a rite of passage for almost anything you're trying to learn.
That's right.
So what I did is I just mocked it out right here. I gave myself, a header that's outside my header, which is of course amazingly semantic choices in my HTML, because all HTML choices that I make are awesome, as
Exactly.
I am Mr. HTML CSS. Uh, and then I threw a footer in there because got to have a footer, and I wrapped everything in main, mostly because my CSS was going wrong in a way that I didn't realize at the beginning. So I thought, I'm going to wrap it in another tag. What could I name that tag? And I was like, the last legit tag was main.
Okay.
So I threw that in there. And then now I got the latest jQuery, apparently. I don't know what the latest means. Could that mean like it's 5 years old with like a couple of like security updates or something? Maybe. I don't know. I'm probably pissing
Yeah,
off all the jQuery people right now.
yeah. To anyone who's a super fan of jQuery, like it's an amazing tool, and it did so much for web development over the years, right? I think that's the
Yeah.
preface. Anytime we're criticizing it, it's like, let's first talk about the beautiful things about jQuery, but then also the world is moving on. I wonder how long it's going to get maintained for. Like, there's so much legacy code that exists, and so much of the internet is still utilizing jQuery, and then people
Yeah.
are still using it for new projects. Like,
And then,
we're sorry.
no, go ahead. Yeah.
I was just going to say, like, we use it as like for a part of a project at work the other day, and I was surprised that got pulled out, but people still use jQuery in production apps, so it's not going away.
That's really cool, right? Like, you run into stuff like that and you're like, oh wow, I didn't even know people were using this. Like in new
Yeah,
stuff, right? You're talking about new
yeah,
stuff, right? What's happening in
yeah,
new, yeah.
totally. Brand
Yeah,
new code.
that's cool. It's wild. I wouldn't have thought that. But, like Daniel was saying about jQuery, I mean, in all fairness, it's fun to beat up on them, but
Yeah,
everybody's standing on the shoulders of giants. And the reality is everything we enjoy today was facilitated originally by the people who created jQuery and then maintained it, because like what tons of JavaScript code was literally like lifted, almost like literally lifted out of jQuery. Like it's given a slightly different label, and then it does the exact same thing and almost the exact same coding pattern, right?
yeah, like the way. So, like, what you're saying is the way that jQuery started expanding on like vanilla JavaScript from 10 years ago or 15 years ago has been packaged up into later versions of ECMAScript, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, totally. I think the biggest part was probably ES6, right? Like just like adopted tons of stuff. And you've
yeah,
seen that even with CSS now, right? Like all the SAS stuff that's like
yeah.
amazing is being co-opted into CSS, like mainstream
So
CSS stuff. So
I guess just to like summarize all of that, we might be moving on from jQuery, but we're not actually moving on from jQuery because it's a foundational part of what JavaScript is today. So it's never a bad thing to explore and remember the good lessons of jQuery from the past. So we kind of like went on a little tangent there about the tool, which is good, I think. But why don't you mention you did part one of this to do app, wrapped it up in some HTML, CSS, and then I think maybe what are the other features you want to add in here? We're doing it as a single page application,
Yeah,
basic to do like everyone does. Single page app though, and we want to do like Ajax requesting kind of
totally.
thing.
And I actually didn't show you this, but this is what I was thinking. Like JSON box. I think it's yeah, that's it. I was doing this with some of the students that weren't like the front end students, and I was like, hey, this is a super simple way. So all you have to do is make a request to this. This is your key. As soon as you land on it, so whoever doesn't know, this will actually. So you see the 45 F45. Watch this when I refresh. There you go. It's changed again. So every
Okay.
time you land on it, you get a 30-day storage site. So this
Whoa.
is like super cool when you're just like, let's do a to-do app that actually works, and you want to cough it up to client, like not client, well maybe clients, but like to prospective employers. I mean,
Right.
it's like you're a front end developer and you want to do a to-do app, and you want it to like legit look like you don't want them to like, oops, I refreshed and then everything just
All my
disappeared,
stuff's gone.
right?
Yeah.
Right? It just doesn't give it that sort of thing. But you're like, well, I know how to make a request to APIs. So you just look it up over here,
Yeah.
and you goof around a bit, if it's a little complicated, and you're like, oh, okay. Like all I gotta do is make a get request, just like that. And you're golden. You're done. Like
Yeah. Cool. Don't have to worry about creating like it's a to-do app. You don't need to build like an Express server and host it somewhere just for like a little demo that you're going to put on your resume.
totally. You don't have to do like Roku or like,
Yeah.
Firebase or any of those things. You just done.
Yeah. Perfect.
There it is. Empty array,
Hey, this is cool.
right? And then
Bookmarking. Absolutely using this later.
pop it in, do an object, like cause jQuery, and then like I don't know, just whatever. I'm just mocking this stuff like right off the top of my head right here. Like first name, I don't know, and then Roger. So then that's it. Just gonna send it. I don't need all this. I might as well just whatever. Posting. Okay, post. Happy places. There's the response saying I'm all happy, lovely. Everything's good. Check your endpoint, whatever. Oh, they use Cloudflare. I didn't know that. Cool. And then get, and then send it. And go back to the preview. And there it is in my array.
Cool.
It is so awesome, isn't it?
That's very cool. So they'll host whatever data that you put in there for a month. Is that what you said?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think
Very nice.
it's progressive expiration. So like if tomorrow I add one, then 30 days from today, I'll have one of those two.
Okay.
So it's not like 30 days and like, I don't know, from when you start using it, it nukes it or some sort of like, at least that's not how it appeared to me because I saw stuff on there for quite a while because I've goofed on it for the last couple of months. So,
Cool. It'll keep extending it, but like if you don't use something for 30 days, it'll
yeah,
be gone. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool service. The people build the coolest tools, and like I, I want to contribute back to developers that way in the long run. So, step one,
I'm,
learn jQuery. Step two, profit.
I wonder if they use workers, Cloudflare's workers, eh? I wonder if they do that because that would make sense. Cloudflare has this key value pair database. Let me just. Why is that showing? This is the weirdest bug, eh? Look at that. You see this? My toolbar. It's not showing in other stuff like here and here. It's showing it on my right side. So anyway, I don't know. Cloud
Yeah,
there,
weird.
and you're allowed to store so much stuff in this. There we go. You can even write in like intercept kind of code, like between your application. Like if you host
Yeah.
on their site, you can even like write code that's like as soon as the domain name is requested, it says it checks like, oh, is this a mobile device? And then it
Yeah.
changes like all your code on your website to like only show mobile images or whatever.
Yeah.
I saw crazy stuff on it. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to start exploring a lot more dynamic content that depends on some of user those user markers that you get as part of your requesting.
Mhm.
Yeah, what browser are they using? What device are they on? And just feeding some more dynamic content that way, I think
Mhm.
would be really fun. So one day
Totally. One
we'll build
day.
that. We'll build that project.
Totally. Totally. And it's probably a good point to point out. Like if people have ideas and they're watching this and they're thinking, "Oh man, I really wish like somebody would build X, Y, Z."
Yeah.
We're still newer developers, so don't go crazy and be like, "Can you build um, Kijiji knockoff in 2 hours or something like that?" I'd be like, "No, we can build it in 20 days." Who knows how long it would take us, but it's probably not going to be an episode or 10.
Yeah. Okay, so I think maybe I have one more question then about what you want to do with this, Roger. Is like, do you want to like time box it of like what can like you and I as dummies learn in like half hour, 45 minutes, and then each of us will take a turn like kind of walking through that half hour like lesson, so to speak? Or do you want to have it be like a longer format?
Hmm. Why don't we do two different ones?
We
That'd be
can
a
try
cool one.
both.
Totally. Like each week we could do one like quick and like the quick and dirty thing because I actually started doing those on my YouTube channel. I call them quick and
Cool.
dirty. It's just like quickly knock out something. But then we wouldn't do apps, I guess, because you and I would really probably struggle to like do, especially if we're pair coding and we're trying to collaborate. And I don't know. Like I guess
Yeah.
we could try eventually, but let's just try to like do something cool. Like, hey, I don't know. Did you see this thing with hooks and I saw this interesting pattern and check it out and we show each other like
Yeah.
how it works and then other people get that experience, right?
I like that idea. So like have one, or like we could do some segments of like, let's do down and dirty. And in, 20 minutes, I will talk you through this thing I learned this week, or vice versa. And then we can do like the collab build whatever the app is
Totally.
in a
That'd be
longer
super cool.
format.
That'd be really cool. I
Yeah.
actually like
That would
our banter too. I like our banter. Did you notice
You're a
that? We're like
banter.
got this good back and forth.
You're a banter, Roger.
You know what another word for banter is, right?
No?
The one we got to keep the show PG. It's the BS one.
Ah, yes. Absolutely.
What?
Absolutely.
You don't have to
I mean,
agree, so
oh, sorry. Did you want me to to inflate your ego about your banter a little more?
no.
No, we're
You're like,
saying
no,
very
you're not
meaningful
that
things
good.
right now.
You say more meaningful things than Patrick. You gotta get the S of Roger. No, no, no. Flush. So, okay, let's try doing something. What should we get going on this? By the way, you may have noticed I slipped in some CSS Tailwind up there, which was on my like to-do list.
I did
So I don't
notice
know if
that.
you ever checked out. Have you ever checked out Tailwind?
Not yet. You've told me about it a handful of times. It's very high on my list of things to explore. In
So they
part
have all
because
these.
I'm a pirate at heart, and so anything that is ocean themed and related, I am 100% on board with.
That's awesome. Um, so they have. Oh, look at they got stacked list. Is that one free? I try to steal all their free stuff, and by steal I mean use it for free because they release it for free. But it's not
Yeah.
all free. They have free stuff and not free stuff. Preview, browse free components. Okay, what's our free components? Can we borrow slash steal anything for this project? What could we do? I don't see anything off the top of my head, eh? Do you see anything? I don't. Oh, we could do this one. Table. Yeah, a table for to do app.
Hey,
What do you think of that?
look at that.
And then we got like an input group here. Whoop. And those look way
Yeah.
prettier.
Yeah.
Okay. I never even thought of this until just now. That's so awesome. Okay, let's make this bad boy in there. This is the form, right? Okay, so we got to replace our. Okay, I'll pop it up here just to.
I need to lay out my screen a little better so I can see
Okay,
what
so
you're
this is
doing in your
there.
code. Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this option stuff because we don't need options because it's a to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need any of that.
And I know that neither of us are in
Um,
a place where we can optionally choose different types of currency.
right?
It's
The
one currency,
price.
same bank account.
Okay, so when I deleted that ID, it didn't change anything, so that's good. And then placeholder, um, it's like text, right? Like some text stuff. Oh my god. Well, Um, enter your to do. There we go. It's still got the $sign, so I got something in here that's causing. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay, so that was a span that they had there. Do we need the span? I just deleted it, so hopefully. Nope, don't need it. Cool.
Get out of here.
Okay,
Just
so we need.
mercilessly chopping code. That's how it's done.
Let's see. Do we even need these divs? I don't even know if we need these opening divs. Like the. Do we? No, we don't. Oh, that's awesome. That's even more gone. That's cool. And
Yeah,
then
no,
we have.
getting rid of those little container divs is good. Absolutely.
Let's see. We need our label. So I heard a long time ago that you need to wrap your input with the label, but they won't let us do that because everything is so wrapped up in divs. I don't think it'll work. Label to do.
Okay, so yeah, let's talk about a label for a second because you put a label and you give it the for tag, and that relates to an ID somewhere.
Do the four. Yeah. I think so. Yeah. I'm just trying to see first if this will. Okay, it doesn't break it. If I wrap the whole thing in a label,
Okay.
sorry, that's what I was obsessing about because I was just thinking, um, I need to, like, because this should be this label to do should wrap around the input because apparently when you do a label like on its own line like this, like it was done, it's not as good for accessibility. So
Yeah,
I don't know if that's true. I would totally question it at this point simply because the Tailwind guys are like rockstar specialists and they didn't do it. So I don't know. Now I'm confused, but it works. So
yeah, I never thought about that. Like maybe they just trust that you'll do the accessibility implementation that you need to do depending on the context or something. I'm not sure. That's
yeah, I
something
don't
that,
know how
so
you
you know what?
circumvent.
Like we should do a full like spiel on accessibility and accessibility tools and stuff because it's an area that I understand the very, very basics of, and I could learn so much more.
I couldn't everybody, right? There's a
Yeah.
dude that I follow on Twitter. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he's like Mr. Accessibility as far as I'm concerned, and we should
Mm.
totally pull him in on something like this. Um, I say on something super simple like this because it's more relatable to junior developers because they're always doing like to-do apps or a quiz app or something. So if we did something like that, then they'd be able to immediately like integrate whatever he taught us into a relatable app that they
Yeah,
would do.
totally.
I got to figure
I
out
like that idea.
why what did I chop that caused the like where is it on the right? I don't have a to do. The to do won't go here, so I'll just leave it. But I think obviously at some point we'll have to figure out what the code nuance is for that. And there we go. Like you see what I mean? Like the to do is over here instead of over
Mm.
here. But I don't know off the top of my head. Whoa, did I go too far? I think I went too far. Oh, they're using table tags. Oh, we don't want to do that, do we? I feel like that's going to make our code uglier. You know
What's
what I
wrong with
mean?
table tags?
It's not a table of data though, right? So that would be an improper usage for semantically. Tables only for data. Like, I think, I mean, I guess you could say a to-do list is data, but I don't know. I just feel like this this is this is the kind of data I think they're talking about, like financial numbers or staff roster or these kinds of like application data state things.
Oh, I think tables confuse me, not because they're complicated, but they come with a lot of underlying functionality as far as CSS goes that is really built in baseline. So I was making a Minesweeper app this past week, and I implemented it with tables in React, and that seemed to work pretty well. Like it gave me the interrelation and some easy ways of styling, like zebra striping, so that the
Uh-huh.
coloring was staggered, which was pretty cool. So
Yeah.
that would be like an area where maybe on a list like this, that would give us some easy functionality wins for like displaying it in, every other row can be like slightly darker shade of gray or something to just visually separate them out, or like that kind of thing. But
Check this out. Okay. So let's see. Li, right? Okay. Odd. That's what it is. Yeah. Haven't done this in a while.
just pulling out
Background.
the nth of type.
Yeah. Let's go with now let's go with the light. I got this one off West Boss. I love that color. He does that, and I'm like, that's so cool. There you go.
Light goldenrod yellow. Heck yeah.
See the how it's every second every odd one.
Exactly. So you can do that with anything. It doesn't have to
Yeah,
be a table.
totally. That's all I was showing you. It's like I don't need table to do that effect.
Cool. For some reason, I think my brain thought, oh, I need like that like nth of type
Yeah,
parameter, or what do you call that even? That'd be like a selector, right?
yeah, yeah. It even says I think right here specificity. No, what do I? Selectors. Does it differentiate? I always get the two names confused. I always get confused which one because it's selector over here, right? In your HTML. And then I'm like, pseudo element. I think that's what it is in CSS.
Yeah.
Or pseudo selector. That's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you got like this and you go li before pseudo selector. It even says there in the definition actually represents a stylable child pseudo element. Oh, pseudo element. Um, it does it
Okay.
on a pseudo element, but it's a pseudo selector in CSS. Yeah, I think that's how it works. Yeah. And then, so then this is also, anything after these double dots is basically um, pseudo. Pseudo.
Anything like yeah, it makes it MDN's calling it a pseudo class where you can it's a specific state of that element.
Mm-hmm.
So it stops being like a list item class and it becomes the list item hover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool.
Show.
Pseudo
See,
classes
it's,
on your selectors.
I don't understand why this thing does this. I'm like, why won't it show hide messages from stream? Show. The chat is ready to display messages. Are you able to, let's, how would we do that? I got to test this out because I'm losing my mind over how this all works.
So
You know what I mean?
this is like broadcasting to your other services, right?
Yeah. So I'm like, but I don't understand why. Like it's very confusing about whether it says hide message from the stream. So it's like okay, you click it, and then when I hover over a message that's there, I say click it, and it shows like a restream one. So then I don't know, like, is that happening? Like, what do other people see, right? And I've seen.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna try sending something here.
Yeah, does that
Hey,
all come into the restream chat?
yeah, that's what I don't know.
Hmm.
We
Yeah,
oh, there it is. It came in. Can you see it?
yeah, totally. And it also shows where that chat message came from. That's cool.
That's neat. I think we got. Oh no, we have one viewer. We have one viewer because I count. So if I go away, we
Hello,
drop
friend
back
from the
down.
internet.
Yeah, hello, whoever the one person is. Say hi so that we know where you are. I think it
Yeah,
says they're on Periscope. Hmm.
cool.
I wonder if it's counting me, but it keeps disappearing. So I don't know. Maybe it's like a legit person. So, um, where were we on this?
We were
So
briefly
yeah,
talking about pseudo selectors, but bringing in
yeah,
that table from Tailwind. Do we want to continue doing that?
yeah. I don't know. I feel like we're just starting a headache based on just all that code. I'm like, I don't even want to spend the hour that it would almost take to like filter through to tweak that because we don't have any of these categories by a margin, right? The only thing we maybe could cheat with is just say status. But
Right.
then name would get turned into the to do, and then we would nuke the picture and change tons of code that like so we'd cut like 95% of what we see here out, and then who knows what we'd end up with.
So that just speaks to when you're picking components, you need to have a good sense of what you're wanting to do with it and why it's implementing, and then how much of it is going to be things that you throw out. Because obviously, as you start refactoring any sort of component from any sort of library, you're going to be tailoring it to whatever you're building. But considering like how much work is it going to be to chop it up and pull it apart and get it working in the way you want is a really important consideration, right?
Totally. And if you buy their thing, if you look at their stuff, like that's their intention, right? Is actually the reason you pay is their tool is meant to be like almost drag and drop for developers. So like you'd pick
Right.
like so I'd actually get exactly which type of one of these I want and then
Okay.
make realistic changes to that. So then I go get HTML, they block me, but I get the HTML and then they show it and then that's how that works. So
Hmm.
so it tries to address 90% of what your issue is. But obviously there's that last 10%, but that's what makes it better than Wix, right? Because you could just like do a tons of the stuff that Wix does, which is just off the shelf, but then you immediately have native access to code. So
Yeah,
it's the
that's
best of
cool.
both worlds, right? From a developer point of view, right?
Yeah, because trying to do anything custom on Wix or like Squarespace is it's a nightmare. You can't.
Cool. Okay, so let's do something with this today before we wrap because we're running out of time and I'm worried that
Time
we
goes
won't get in.
fast. Time
I
goes
would
fast.
totally rename everything that we did on this thing because I think most people are going to click on it and come see because it's like it says jQuery, but we ended up turning it into a gasathon. So
Yeah, I think with some practice, we'll get a little more focused on the specifics of like, okay, here's how we flow through like the specific like topic that we're talking about today. Um,
totally, totally.
Getting my brain back into jQuery mode. But I don't know. I wasn't ready, Roger. I wasn't ready.
That's so funny.
Okay,
It's
so
so
we want to be doing stuff like we're going to need like a helper function as part of our app.js code or something that says grab our like select this input form, grab the text that's within it, submit that as a post request to our cool little code, our JSON box, and then also refresh the view to show that as the thing on the top of the list, right?
totally.
Okay.
I you have access, so I'll leave you with the start, and and I'm just gonna hang in there and see what it's like to be a passenger or a witness. I guess it's maybe even
Why?
because it's been a long time since I pair coded.
Yeah. Okay. So
It's connected, by the way. No, it is not. I will connect it in the HTML. I thought I connected it. I'm going to double check. I did not.
how would you structure files? Would you make like a full folder for like helper functions for something like this, or would you just make a?
I just go help JS and see what happens, right? Because sometimes you can overbuild, especially for something like this, right?
Yeah,
We really think we're going to keep this simple. So, could it spiral out of control? Maybe, but how much would it be out of control that would take us like less than 10 minutes to restructure in the folder system,
probably.
right?
Okay.
That's
Made
what
a helper just
I always think about it. It's like how much, because I've gotten really stuck on getting projects scaffolded before, and I'm just like, oh my god, really? Do I need 9 folders for like what I'm doing?
Yeah, so maybe the better approach is to just like kind of throw things in, and then as you're going, as it starts getting more complicated, you break those out and restructure.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one. And then the other thing is as you do it, you might even realize, you know what, I need to make a couple folders and be more forward thinking about it, whatever, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Shall we call this create, or we'll call it submit? You do,
Woo!
or one word. It's
Yeah,
one word.
I'm gonna do my. I always tell students to do this, so I'm gonna do this while you're doing that. This is working. Just because students always, like the little mentees, they always screw up their link. And I'm like, even we screw up. And by we, I mean like all developers, not like because I'm super
Yeah.
awesome. I'm not, but just, yeah. And then there's an issue there.
Okay, so this will take in. This will be our input form that we're going to pass in here. We're going to do some jQuery business on that. Everyone loves jQuery.
Yep.
Uh,
Just ignore me for a second. Eh? You just do you. There we
so I'm already not doing what I'm thinking I'm doing. I don't want to actually grab that yet. We want to be doing a jQuery lets us do dot. Oh, so we can just make specific requests, I think, right? Like right from in the box with jQuery, and we're going to post this to. I don't know what the route is. I'm going to write to do.
go. The
Yeah, what
route
I'm
is just to do. Just little. Yeah, little. Yeah.
little to do.
Little to do.
Little to do.
Like,
And then we're going to hand in our input form.
I just
Uh,
did the touch helper.js. That's so awesome. So I thought I just saw that.
okay, so this is a part that I'm not rusty enough with jQuery. We're going to grab this function is going to take in whatever our selector is from the HTML. It's going to pass this in here. We're going to make a post request with jQuery, and it's going to send it to this route with whatever the thing is that we've grabbed. So this will be our value. Then
Okay.
we are going to need to make this into a JSON object, right?
Probably. I always have to like review code all the time when I'm doing jQuery because it just doesn't bubble up. I'm like, I know what I'm looking for and I know what I'm doing, like, where I'm going. But sometimes
Yeah,
I'm just like, the syntax, I'm just like stalling out big time. Um, yeah. You have the advantage because nobody can see your screen, eh?
that's right. I can be hiding over here as I'm thinking. That's funny.
Actually, we
Uh,
should set that up, right? So that the restream, you can use it, the same one, and we just hop on here, and then that way, um, when one of us is the driver, it gives us some degree of like, uh, I don't know, privacy or whatever, so that
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you can
Have
like
parts of the
review your
screen without
notes.
all this.
Yeah, because if you got like notes and stuff, and you know,
Yes. Okay, so looking at the jQuery.post docs, we have a few options. We first pass in the URL. We can optionally pass in data, what to do on a success, and a data type. Um, so we can also, like, we can structure it the way I've started, or we can do um, like a Ajax and give this an object in here. We'll do like post. Our URL is going to be our to do.
I don't know why, but I like the Ajax one better. Sometimes
Yeah,
verbose is
this looks nicer, right? I'm a fan of like be a little more explicit about what is happening, especially if it's a tool that you're not super familiar with. And we can do data type. It's a string. Yeah, so data type is a string, JSON. Now, I suppose the next part is that if we're directly taking it from there, then that means that we need to format it before we actually send it. So let's change this to, man, naming things, always, JSON input.
it's hard, eh, when you're on the spot.
JSON input equals input form. Uh, okay, so I want to just like use a to JSON. There's a like a JSON.jsonify. Is that part of this is part of Node, right? This JSON.
Oh, it's a library built into the browser API.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Get what the command is. It's like to
You're saying you want to stringify.
stringify.
Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah.
What's the syntax? And I just put this in a.
That's it. Yeah. JSON stringify. There
Cool.
it is. See? It's on MDN.
You knew what I was looking for. That's where my brain was trying to go.
Just like that. This is MDN. So you spelt it wrong, but that's cool. But otherwise, you were bang
Oh,
on.
right on. Okay. Something else I forget, Roger, is Ajax. Where does Ajax come from?
That's jQuery.
That's built
Yeah.
into jQuery.
Yeah. Ajax is the jQuery method that you're using
Right.
to carry out the request.
Okay.
Yeah. It's basically an XHR. So if you look up an XHR request, that's right here. Let's see. This is the difference, right, between an old man developer like me, who's been like terrible forever, and the newer developers, because you don't do any of this XHR stuff. But I did this when I first started. Yeah. So you do this, and you open it up like this, just as an example, and then you say request dot is it open? Yeah, I think it's open. open,
Oh,
and
you have
then
to like build all of the components of your request then.
send. And there's a step in the middle there that I was forgetting off the top of my head. Using XH, here it is. So new object, got it. Ah, yeah, I need a listener. So then I go, I'd say like request
Oh man.
dot add event listener, and then you say like on. It says here in MDN load, but there was another one that's like state or something like that it used to be. Is it giving me the suggestion here? I don't see it in my ID. State, is it state? No. I wanted it to just give it to me, right? Like start to suggest it. But
Right.
yeah, to be like on load state change or something like that. And then that's what you would do. And then you do your open, which is your URL. So this is this one. So you could go here like that. Crazy, eh? So I
So
guess
all of
basically,
that stuff gets bundled right up into things like Ajax, right? Like it's doing the event listening, it's opening the request, it's sending all those things, and that's all just packaged up for us in these handy
yeah,
little things
this
like
is how it
Ajax.
used to be. Yeah, and then this was replaced by jQuery's Ajax, and now jQuery's Ajax has been handily replaced by ES6, which is Fetch. And that's why Fetch doesn't work in Node.
Interesting.
That's why we use Axios. History lesson.
Okay. So the next part of this, I would probably put it into like our app.js file. We're going to need to do our fancy jQuery business of grab the document from the window and on load. Oh, that's not the right one. Document ready. We can,
Document ready. Yeah, actually, the shorthand for document ready is just function. Apparently now you can just write just function.
really?
Yeah, so that whole like so where you do what is it like a wrap and then you go document dot ready something I forget. Yeah, that was predictive. So I meant just like dots like that. Okay, that still didn't work out. But anyway, that stuff you just replace it all with function like this or something like that. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but I can look it up for you if you want.
Okay. So
You
let's
just
pop
keep
over
going with what
to,
you know, and I'll just refactor that part as soon as I spot it.
let's pop that into this app.js file.
Okay.
We're going to do, so this basically says when our page is loaded, jQuery, we're going to fire off this function that we're handing into this thing here. And this is where we can do stuff like load to-do list. And we are building out the, and here's going to be our submit to do. And that's going to do stuff like selector with jQuery. I don't know what's the class going to be for the.
Oh, it's already in there. You mean the class for the form?
Yeah.
Oh, so we do an ID because we're doing JavaScript on it, right? So then we say to do form, something like that. There we go. Let's do that. To do form dash form.
Dash
Yeah.
form.
Yeah.
So then we're going to do. We're going to tell jQuery, listen for a submit, and then we can do some fancy callbacks. When that event happens, an error function. We're going to do event.
Prevent default.
Yeah, we're going to prevent the default. And then we're going to call our to do function with, how do we grab the value from that input form? There'll be an ID for that, right? Be like to do text or something.
would be.
The input. Now it's
I
got.
should have. Did I? Oh no, I will. Oh, you know why? Because I replaced my original one. So I'll put an ID on that, and that
Right.
should be like to do what I got to do form to do input. There we go.
Cool.
Very consistent, eh?
Okay, so that should be everything that we need to do. We're having this little jQuery grabber. Anytime this to-do form that we've identified by the ID submits, I'm going to stop it from actually submitting as the browser wants to default do, which will allow us to maintain our single-page app. And we're calling a helper function of submitting whatever that to-do is with the input. Helper function exists in the helper file. It's taking whatever data that's passed to it, and then we can turn that input data into a JSON object, which we're using to store our data. And we're going to do an AJAX post request to the to-do URL. And that should do all the things we want it to do.
Cool. I showed you up here just so you know one line 1, 2, and 3. So you can see here all you do is grab this like that, and it replaces apparently all this.
So you don't need to. That's cool.
Right?
Huh. So it just, jQuery just knows that like, oh, the first callback function that gets handed into me is going to be something that should happen when the document is ready.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So question, do we not need to use, we got to post our data somewhere, right?
Right.
So in our jQuery, I'm guessing, where do we do that? Post
Is this
data Ajax, right? Because that's really what we're looking for. That's specific.
Yeah.
How to do it? We'll get this. Yeah, so it's post. Okay, so this right here, I think, is supposed to be this.
Okay. Yeah, because we're not building a server, so we will just send it directly to that.
Right? Because that's what we're used to, right? We're used to just saying, "Oh yeah, this is
whatever route I've created."
route." Yeah, you got it. So I wonder if that's going to interfere over here. This action to do.
Oh, yeah. What's existing on that so far?
So it's like
Post.
Go to the app, and then it's grab the data from the form, and then process that into the submit event. So I don't think we're just taking it from the submit. I don't know if we need any of that, do we? Because we're just taking the data, period. We're lifting it. We only need those items if this is what I do sometimes when I don't want to delete stuff because I'm not sure. I do this. So
Yeah.
break out a new line like an Ajax or like React, and then I just leave it. And then that way that should comment it out. It shouldn't show up as active in our HTML. Let's see, that's the form, right? So let's see if it's commented out of the form. Oops, looks like it's. Yeah, I don't know.
Lived.
I think it's still alive and happy. Maybe it works better in React. All right, cool. Should we try it?
Yeah, because you can see what gets dumped into that JSON box, right?
Ooh, app. Oh, you know what? Hold on. We're missing the. So I got the app. The app thing's not working. Let's do that. Still not working. Why isn't it working? Oh, because this is client. No. It's in client. Hold on. Why isn't it working?
Yeah, mine's in the debugger. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, it's not reading it. So it's not picking up the $ from. So we got to do before that. We have to do script. We have to definitely add in the other one, right? So helper.
Yeah, right.
And then I don't know why it's saying I have to, my is saying I have to do that. This is working. So helper is working. So helper and app. What the hell is the difference? Dollar is not, so app.
Oh, because helper doesn't actually have any jQuery in it. Do we import
No, it does. We're
jQuery
using
up?
jQuery. Oh, but we're not calling it. So maybe it just doesn't.
As far as I remembered, it should be fine. Is I thought jQuery you brought in like as a link, like the same way that we did the Tailwind stuff.
Yeah, it's at the bottom down there. I'm going to move it to the
Yeah,
top.
you've got the script.
I just
Hmm.
moved it to the top just to see. So our helper is working. I'm going to run this is helper is working. Okay, and copy, and then I'm going to go to app.js and put that one in, and then app.js is working. Okay, so it's being read. Okay, so we don't have a reading issue. We have just a jQuery issue.
Yeah, an ordering issue or jQuery issue. My
Okay, so
understanding is that it should just, like, once you are importing it via your index HTML, it's creating the jQuery code as part of the window. And so you can access that $sign from any subsequent scripts that you're importing into your HTML, right?
yeah, I don't remember anything different than that. I don't know how uncaught reference. I'm googling. I googled it right. I binged it basically. Reference error is not defined, which means dollar is either a variable or a method which you are trying to use before declaring it using var keyword. Data is not. I wonder if we have to do. Maybe we have to instantiate it. Do we have to? I don't remember having to instantiate it. Do we have to do that? Do we have to do? I really don't recall ever having to do like const
Yeah, we should just have to.
variables, right? Like I don't even know how I would instantiate that. Like, you know what I
I
mean?
feel
Like
like
I don't. I've never seen that. I mean, not never. Who knows? Like one day, maybe I saw it.
I don't know what version we're using of
The
jQuery
latest, latest.
because I just
So,
found how old is this Stack Overflow? Yeah,
oh
that's
man,
so old.
everything out there is old. Yeah. Yes, sir. I'm gonna. It's not defined. And then jQuery. jQuery. Before they've actually included it.
What's the defer doing in this script tag? I've never seen that before.
Oh, is it deferring? Oh, that's why, dude. Yeah. That's why. Yeah. So we can keep defer. I didn't even notice it. Okay, so I'll move it back down because it should be at the bottom. All scripts should be. But if we keep defer, because it's supposed to load after the DOM loads, but we got to defer them all, obviously, because they all have to. Thanks for snagging that, man. I was just like, thank goodness you didn't recognize it. So it was being deferred. All the other ones were loading before. See,
Right.
it's gone now because
Okay.
it was basically the other ones were DOM blocking.
Okay.
That's why you put it at the end. Like you could put this before, and then it gets called, but it won't DOM block.
Hmm. So what's the point of doing that deferral?
So what happens is the entire DOM loads, and then it loads the jQuery script. The scripts last. Like,
I gotcha.
yeah, there's like a whole thing to it. There, you can even choose async as well, and there's actually async versus defer HTML.
Interesting.
And there's, yeah, so right here, asynchronous versus deferred bits of code. I like this guy. So before looking into the effect of the two attributes, we must first look at what occurs in their absence. And then this is a nice little graphy thing. Let's make it a little bigger. Can we make it bigger? Let's see what so everybody can enjoy it. So then the HTML parsing happens in the script execution, and then whatever happens after. Async moves it to the side, right? And then when it executes, it does this, but defer pushes it right to the end.
Interesting.
So that's why I picked that one. So as long as it's like it'll even say it here. However, even if the file is fully downloaded long before the document is finished parsing, the script is not executed until the parsing is complete. But it should say somewhere in here probably why you would do that. And from what I understand, the reason you use defer over async is that you want your first paint is essentially not affected, like zero impact based on lack of JavaScript.
Mm-hmm.
So if your first paint of the application has zero impact, then you go to defer. And if there's something that's supposed to happen, like some kind of checking, or maybe even like I think maybe like a tracking script or something that you want to load like right away, to show that early landing, then you would do async.
Okay.
Or if you're those people like marketing people that are gung ho, right? Then you probably move it even into the head with no defer or async. Just load.
You don't care about them getting the content. You want all their data first.
That's right. So when a Google Analytics
Oh,
screen slows down, they're like, "That's okay. You can suffer through the 3 seconds that it takes."
yeah. Okay, I get it. That makes sense.
All right, let's see what we got here. See if this works. Totally bombed. Ajax is not a function. Oh my god, losing faith in you.
Way to go,
What?
Jim. You haven't used jQuery for like 5 months. How dare you not remember at the top of your brain how to do an Ajax request?
So bad. So
I'm
bad.
actually really embarrassed though.
It's actually hard not to be embarrassed, even though it's like not reasonable, right?
Right? Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Like it's fine. Okay, so
Ajax. Okay, we got our URL. Context body.
you know what? We have to bring in Ajax specifically.
Into that JS file?
No, into the HTML. Let me drop a
Ajax.
link in here.
So no defer is what you're saying.
No, like that's fine. Leave the defer. We're gonna plunk in an actual Ajax part of the jQuery library. We'll defer this as well. It's all the same.
No, it's working. It's working. Yeah, I got it. No, it was the defer script for some reason.
We
Oh no, it's working because you did that. Sorry, man. My bad.
Yeah, we'll keep the defer.
I think it just worked. Nope. Post. Our post is bad. Why is our post bad?
Okay.
Post submit to do on helper line 8. Okay, so the Ajax. It hates the Ajax. Let's see. Let's get a console log in there. Let's get another console log in there. Let's see what's the real
Log it
deal
up.
there.
So I just saw you were using Turbo Logger. So
No, I upgraded.
are you something else?
I use something else now. You got to hear about it. It's awesome. Because it's all these languages. Where is it? Print it. and it'll work with like a bunch of different languages. Yeah, see, look at all
Cool.
these languages. Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. And then I liked the Turbolog shortcut so much that I manually went into like the JSON thing, editor thingy, like customization, and I changed it. So if you want, I can actually show you that one. JSON, JSON, JSON keyboard shortcuts. That's it. And then what do I want? Control CTRL plus option. Nope. Alt plus. There it is. Yep. So there it is.
Cool.
So if you want to grab that, because I think you can see it, right?
Uh, no, won't let me follow you to
Okay.
your setup.
So I'll bring it into helper, okay? Because I see you're there. So you can grab this once you install it and drop that into your key bindings JSON file. But because that's the exact same command that comes from Turbolog. So if you're used to Turbolog and you're like, I don't want to relearn anything that's totally
We got the
ineffective.
muscle memory.
Yeah. Why would you do that, right? Why torture yourself?
Don't torture yourself. Okay,
Totally don't.
we digress.
So, okay. So click, I'm going to just redo this one just to see what happens. So
Mhm.
on click, where's my button? Button. On click, submit, ID. Oops. Submit to do, and then
The interesting thing about doing jQuery, you can start grabbing information in so many different ways. You can trigger the events in however you want. So much customization about how the websites make it work.
totally, totally. And then we have this function, which is going to replace this, and then we have our data, and this is going to post to the thing. I'm just trying to get it working, just to see what happens. And then go here. I don't want to do that. That's like ugly. Const URL. This is marginally better, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Marginally better. Okay, and so then we have our status, alert. Let's just console log because alerts suck. Alerts are for losers.
Down with alert. Nobody likes them.
Nobody likes them. Who likes them? That's what I want to know. Somebody's gonna be like, I like them. So we got our data. We need data and status in a, let's go to our helper. Oops. Data and status. So we got to pass in the input form and then our status. So that's what I'm assuming based on their template, right? So status. So like something like this status dot. I'm guessing there's like some kind of server or something. You know what I mean? That you would do. You know what I mean? Like if server status 202, just like you can do in regular
Right.
JavaScript. And then if so, then punch this out. So post that load data and post HTML request. Okay, so it's really saying that so this is data. Okay, let's just see what comes. I don't know. I'm not overriding you, just so you know, because I'm like,
No,
oh, we have a goof. Let's see what happens.
yeah, no, this is the way to do it. If there's problems, then the other person, like we trade in, right? Tag in, tag out.
Oh,
What do
I'm
you got
missing
there?
a. I can make that bigger too. I don't know why I have it that small. App 17. There's a bracket issue. Bracket issue.
Oh, we just need an extra closing bracket. Okay.
Oh, that means we got one extra one down here then. Yeah. So that's because we're self-closing up there. No, 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 no.
No.
It's gonna wrap yeah, it's gotta wrap everything.
Yeah, get rid of that.
So we have an open one, closing one. So we have those two here.
Okay, this is supposed to be a callback, right? This.
Yeah, yeah, totally. So that's here. But why is it erroring still? That's the. Let's space it out a little bit so we can see it. Oh, I know why. Because this is the whole function. This is the whole function. There is no callback. It was a callback. So now it's like this. This is it.
Oh.
We commingled. I hate when that happens. That happens to me all the time because I just get so focused and then I realize, wait, it's not a call. Like it's not a. It's a named function. So I don't need that anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so now we got another data is not defined. Cool. That makes sense because there's no data coming in. Right? We didn't do anything about the data. So this is our button and we're clicking. When we click the button, we pass an event and then it's saying do something with the data. But are we doing anything to grab the data?
No, not yet. I don't think.
Like, should that be happening in our? No, because it's supposed to be passed in. So where the hell did this data come from?
That was the input form that we're supposed to be handing in here. So before it was saying we're going to submit a to do and we'll grab so the click has changed it to a button, and when you're doing it on submitting the form, you get the data passed with it, but the click is changing it. So we need to actually grab. How do we select? Just want to grab.
I was like, I think it's something, where you use that new form method, like new form or something. You can do that too now, but I don't know how to use new form. Some form validation, yada, yada, yada. I don't know if you want to take a look at this, but this is the URL I'm looking at right now. It's actually pretty interesting on jQuery.
This is something that I just saw. You can grab. Oh, I don't know if we want to.
Dude, we made progress. We got an input undefined status. That's this one up here. This is undefined now. We have something. Whereas before it was just like nothing. So data is going in based on what you just did now. So we got data.
I don't think we want to serialize that. Let's get rid of that.
Okay, I'm going to just console log that one.
Cool.
Okay. And then DDDD. Oh, I got it, dude. We got the input.
What's it say?
What do we got? Got data coming in here. Is there any? Where's my DDDD? It was DDDD. Yeah, it was. Okay. I always do DDD. That's where my finger is. Yeah, 100%. Let's see. It should be in here if we got that. It should.
What did it grab?
It grabbed the input. It says something about the input here. It says input, to do input. So you grabbed to do input. What was that? To do input.
That's the text form.
Yeah, so you got the Yeah. So you grabbed that on click, right? So we got on click for the submit to do button. So on click, you grab the data from there. Man, this stuff is so different than working just in React, eh? Like you just get so used to
Right.
having all this stuff just handed to you on a silver platter, and
Right.
you're
Back to
like,
basics. Back to
yeah.
school, you big idiots.
Let's see what the time is. 11:30. I can't remember. I have to check my schedule. Oh shit, dude! I gotta go. I gotta go. Gotta go.
Okay.
Gotta go. I'll catch you later. All right.
Talk to you later, buddy.
Bye.
We'll pick it up later.
Yeah.